thing in the morning. Just kind of a quick expectation, culture talk. Just wanted to have that, so make sure that we all start off on the right foot. I know for your homerooms tomorrow, you have your checklist of things to go over. Make sure that we hit those handbooks so those kids, so the students know what's expected of them. And again, I'm going to call them in and meet with each class, and then I'll talk about highlighting certain things that I want to drive home with them, so that, that we'll send out the bell schedule, we haven't already, about first period and what we do on the first day of school. The biggest thing is, and like Dr. Hinton said, and like I said, treat these children like you would want somebody to treat yours. This is a safe place. It's a safe place for them, no matter what's going on outside, no matter what's going on in their lives. This has to be a safe place for them. So there's no room for sarcasm. There's no room for disrespect. There's no room for any of that. Those of y'all that have been with me, y'all know how I feel about that. If a student is being disrespectful, I just ask you to disengage. I ask you to either call the office or push the button right there. Every room should have that. Doc, point to that button right there. All right, if you hit that button right there, it'll ring in the front office, and then they'll come over and say, can we assist you? And all you got to say is, I need an administrator. All right? There's no reason to get into a back and forth. There's no reason for any of that. Now, I know some of you all went to the restraint and seclusion class, and I understand the first part of that was talking about those type things, how to calm a situation down. And Dr. Henry's going to bring that training, because I think she went and spent a couple hours over there. So she's going to bring that training, because sometimes how we react to a situation, it can either escalate it or it can de-escalate it, okay? There's many forms of communication. We talk about that. I can communicate with you all without even opening my mouth. By my body language, by a sound that I make, or what I do with my eyes. You can be talking to me about something, and as soon as I do this, I roll my eyes at you, and I haven't said anything, but that's a form of communication. So when you're dealing with students, you have to be careful of our forms of communication. And just like it's no different than if I was dealing with you as your principal, then you, in the form of an authority figure, are dealing with a student. And it always, in all the years that I've been in education, I never could understand how people would say and treat and talk to a child in a way that they know they wouldn't stand for with their own child, or your niece, or your nephew, or any family member that you have an emotional attachment to. And if you can't, some people are good with the what education gives you, as far as Christmas and spring break and fall break and off every weekend and all summer. If you're in education for that, you're in it for the wrong reasons. All right, we're here for these students. We're gonna support you, and y'all know that as administrators. We're gonna support you. We're gonna get you what you need. We're gonna get the supplies that you need. All that we ask is don't put us in a situation where we cannot support you. That's all I ask, is that don't put us in a situation where we cannot support you. But y'all know me, I don't, if I'm in a parent conference, it is what it is. It is what it is. So if you've done something that you don't have any business, I'm not going, we're not going to let a parent go off and start cussing and fussing but you don't have to answer that. If you say something that you don't have any business, or you do something that you don't have any business, then you're the one's gonna have to answer that. Okay? Let's talk about ministerial duties. Who can tell me what a ministerial duty is? Or what a ministerial responsibility is? And y'all heard me say this. What is that? What does that mean? Ministerial.
You put us in charge of something.
Okay.
You give us a job to do.
Okay. That's pretty close. Give me an example of a ministerial responsibility.
Supervision.
Supervision. All right.
Standing at your door.
Standing at your door.
Your morning duty.
Morning duty. Right. Ministerial responsibilities mean that it's a responsibility that has been delegated to you from the administrator. Whether it's me, whether it's in form of board policy, whether it's in the handbook, but it's a duty that has been delegated to you and you have to carry it out. Real quick, standing at the door. That's an ministerial duty. And ministerial duty is, in our handbook, we have our policies and procedures when someone comes to pick up a child. Well, if Ms. Pinkston gives that child to the wrong person and don't follow the rules as described in our handbook, then not only are we liable, but she's liable as an individual. So not only can they sue the school, they can sue you as an individual. So if our duties are to stand at the door and be in supervision, which we do a great job of that, thank goodness. But if something was to happen and you didn't carry out your ministerial duty, then you can't just say, well, they're gonna sue the school, I'm just gonna walk away. All right? I always start the year out with this story about, we had a young lady, and Mr. Ferris is no longer with us, but we had a young lady that was in his class, and this was in the old building, just to tell you how much of an impact that we have in what we say. And she wasn't feeling well, and she wrote the letter. She was thinking about committing suicide. And through the course of her interaction with Mr. Ferris, he encouraged her. He didn't know what she was feeling like. He didn't know, looking at her on the surface, everything looked normal. But just in his conversation with her, he said some encouraging words to her. Well, the next day she brought him a letter. And I'm gonna dig in my movement. I'm gonna dig and I'm gonna find that letter. But what the letter said is that I was contemplating suicide. Somebody that I cared about and loved had told me I didn't amount to anything. And I was no good. But when I talked to you and you encouraged me, that made me change my mind and want to continue on. Now, if he'd have said something, and like I said, she wasn't crying, she wasn't visibly upset, she didn't have any of those signs that make you say, are you okay? She was just in class, and his interaction with her, he said some encouraging words to her. And it saved her life. That's the level of impact that we have. We change futures by our words. I can remember, I forgot whose child it was, but she wanted to be a music therapist. Where you go and you play music and it's therapy. And when she said that, somebody said to her, why do you want to do that? There ain't no money in that. But first of all, they didn't know what they were talking about. And second of all, who are we to crush somebody's dreams? If they said they want to be a musical therapist, then you encourage them in that. And it's up to them whether they change their mind or not and do something else. Something else we have to be careful of with our demographics. If you keep doing that, the only thing that you're going to be asking is what do you want, what fries do you want with that shake? Now some of our children's parents work at a restaurant or something like that. Or you're not going to amount to anything, all you're going to do is get if you keep doing this, all you're gonna get is a fast food job. But we got some of our children been working fast food their whole life. So now what are we telling them? That what their parents are doing don't mean nothing. So we don't think before we speak. We can say those things, and now we're in a position where we're trying to explain ourselves away. All I do when I'm dealing with students, I always think about if this was AJ, Alicia, Ashley, or Marlo, how would I want this situation handled? And I never make the wrong decision. Never make the wrong decision. Because if one of my children come to me with a concern, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to try to help them. If one of my children make a mistake, I understand that they're just a teenager, they're just a child, and I'm here to support them through that mistake and to help them not make that mistake again. It's the same thing in this building. Same thing in this building. Like I said, I never could understand how somebody could treat somebody else's child the way that you know you wouldn't want. Some of y'all are, man, y'all won't even come through the door. Y'all just bust right through the bricks. And I understand that the passion is not the same. You know, the passion is not the same. But the care and want to see them to succeed, that's why we're in this business. And the worst child in this school, the worst one, you probably can think of one that, oh, I'm glad he or she has graduated. The worst one in them schools have parents and family members that love them just like we love ours. Now, they may not be proud of everything that they do, but if you don't believe me, if you ever watched the first 48, you got somebody's child sitting in there for murder. I was watching it the other day. Young man drove to the drive-thru, 2 of them went up, shot, killed the man, and robbed him. Then went down to the hotel and tried to set up another man. He ran off, they shot at him, everything's on video. They bring him into the interrogation room, brings the mother in there. She loving on that boy like he had just won the lottery. She wasn't proud of what he did, and she said to him, you know, I can't believe you did that. You need to tell the truth. But she wasn't like, you ain't my child no more, I don't have nothing to do with you, or anything. She turned and gave him that motherly love and that support that he needed, even though he went to jail for the rest of his life. Now, I'm not saying to that extreme, but I'm just telling you, these parents care about these children just like we care about ours. And we have to treat them as such. Now, y'all know one thing I won't back up is being sarcastic, telling kids to shut up, and all that kind of stuff. I can't support you on that. Because I've had 3 to come through here, and I've got 1 more coming through. And it ain't no, oh, I hope I don't get Dr. Gray's daughter. Because I don't, you know, as an administrator, I don't mix parenting with administration. And some of y'all have had my kids, and y'all know that. If they're wrong, they're wrong. And I won't come to the door like some of us will, right? Because I had to put that rule in there. If you're in the role of a parent, you have to set up a conference like everyone else. And the reason we have to put that in there is because I had teachers confronting other teachers while they standing at the door supervising about a quiz or a test or whatever the case may be. I can't have y'all fighting in the hallway. Right? Because I'm going down there about my child. Y'all know it's a whole different emotion when you're talking about your child. And you going down there with the intention, I'm going to talk to Ms. Andrews with the intention that she's going to be understanding and she's going to change whatever consequences that she issued. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll go talk to her, she gonna change. Well, then she tells me, no, I gotta treat him like everybody else. What do you mean? What? And now we got this, when she's just following the rules, okay? So that's why when you turn into the role of a parent, you have to set up a conference so we can have a mediator so we can talk about it. Don't go down the hall confronting teachers about your child. And those of you that have taught teachers' children, y'all know what I'm talking about. Rules don't apply when it comes to my child. I've had some come to me and want me to change the whole dress code because now their child got to go to ISS. I'm like, what? Thing's been in place for 10 years. What do you want me to do? But my point is there's a different emotion. So the culture here is a safe school. And I want parents to feel like when they drop their kids off, it's like dropping them off at grandma's house. They know they're going to be cared for. They know they're going to be fed. They know they're going to be encouraged. They know they're going to be nurtured. And they know they're going to be led in the right direction. That's what happens when you drop your children off at grandma's house. So that's the culture of this school when it comes to children. Now, we're not going to let them run the building. We're not going to let them tell us what to do. We're not going to let them be disrespectful. But in raising children, you have to discipline them sometimes. But the discipline is going to be consistent, and it's going to be fair, and it's going to fit whatever the consequence is as to whatever the violation is. We don't let students curse us out. We don't do that. We don't, our and students know, they know if they curse at a teacher, then their time in this building has just came to an end. Now they may curse walking away or under their breath and we overhear them. Y'all do the same thing. Y'all fuss going out the door. And I overhear y'all, but I don't run after y'all. Because I understand we don't vent. And I understand that there are things that we have to do that's going to frustrate us. So as y'all walking out the door telling me I done lost my mind and I'm leaving here and I ain't coming back and I wait tables before I come back here and y'all doing it going that way, I understand. You're just upset about something, and then at the end of the day, it's up to you what you do anyway. Okay? So, but for them to stand there and directly curse, in their time at Walsh County High School just came to a halt. So we're not going to tolerate that. We're not going to tolerate fighting. Y'all know what we do with fighting. Some of our new teachers with fighting is press charges and then to the alternative school for a year. Now, of course, we investigate, because everybody's self-defense, and we have to take that into consideration. But after our investigation, we do that. The biggest thing about supervision is we do not want students as witnesses. We want adults. The students are mad at each other for 5 minutes, and Ms. Walker can tell you sometime before they get out of the office, they done made up, and they get amnesia about the whole event. They don't know what happened. Stitches get stitches. All of that stuff comes into play. That's why we need adults' eyes on it, and y'all do a great job of that, so we don't have to rely on student testimony. Okay? So just keep that in mind, coaches or activity people or anything that's an administrative duty that's given to you when you're on the field or when you're in the gym or you're on whatever, band or whatever. All of those that's what ministerial duties are. If you don't carry those things out properly, it can cost you, and it's not worth it, quite frankly. I don't want to be in nobody's court, and as suit happy as this world is now, people sue you for anything. We had the seclusion and restraint training. I don't expect you all to jump in, you ladies. We got 2 big old boys fight. I don't expect y'all to jump into the middle of it. Make that clear. But you can't ignore